Joining me now is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, you felt this coming, didn't you not, that this was going to be a keep this going through the fall so we don't have to have conventions, probably not even a campaign, no debates, and maybe not even traditional voting. It all has to be done by mail.
Well, look, I think Biden is terrified of the Bernie brothers. He doesn't want to go to a Democratic convention because he's scared of the activists, because he knows they don't want him. And you can see, have you ever seen a presumptive nominee hide from the American people like Joe Biden is? It's unprecedented.
Well, I've never seen anything like it. And I've never seen anything like people concluding many months out that things need to be canceled or things need to be virtual, which means that they're not certainly not as meaningful to folks. It's just, I mean, why do they feel like the need to do that now? But you get the sense that the Democrats feel, some of the fringe at least, feels like this is the only way to ensure that they have a chance against Trump to keep this thing going all the way to the fall.
Well, I think they're scared of whatever gaffes, what Biden might say. I think they also, you see the media, much of the mainstream media, trying to root for disaster. They're rooting for this pandemic to be worse and worse. And you saw, the Washington Post self-proclaimed fact checker was cheering about a line from the State of the Union where the president said we had the lowest unemployment in 50 years. And the Washington Post was saying, well, gosh, that didn't stand up well to the test of time. Well, no, you moron. We had the lowest African-American and Hispanic unemployment ever recorded until a global pandemic that originated in Wuhan in China came and ended up causing absolute chaos and catastrophe. But yet the media, we should be coming together to root for America, to root for defeating this pandemic and to root for jobs coming back. And I think too many partisan Democrats want to just use this catastrophe to attack Trump rather than come together and fight for our country.
Senator, here's what Biden said yesterday about banning travel over the virus.
45 nations had already moved to keep block China's personnel from being able to come to the United States before the president moved. So it's about pace. It's about the urgency, and I don't think there's been enough of it.
Well, that's a totally different tune that he was singing back in January. Watch.
This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysterical xenophobia, and fear-mongering to lead the way instead of science.
No, so why was that bad science in January, Senator Cruz, but good science today?
Look, it's just political opportunism. I spoke with President Trump on February 2nd, so a couple of days after he put in place the travel ban to China. And the president asked me at the time, said, what do you think? Was it the right thing to do? He was getting blasted by Joe Biden, being called a hysterical xenophobe. The New York Times was running editorials from op-ed columnists blasting him for putting the China ban in place. I told him back then, Mr. President, it's exactly the right thing. It'll have real negative economic consequences, but this coronavirus is too dangerous, and all of us need to do what we can to protect people's lives and safety. And, the CDC, I chaired a hearing on the coronavirus over a month ago. The CDC said the president's decision to halt air travel in and out of China and to quarantine any Americans coming back from China substantially slowed the growth of this virus in the United States, and it reduced the number of infections, and it saved lives in America. And yet, right now, Biden and Pelosi and the press are all trying to rewrite history to pretend they supported what they criticized and opposed at the time.
Senator Cruz, Pelosi saying the next bill will be $1 trillion. Now, you're a fiscal hawk, and I think there are a lot of fiscal hawks that say they are but aren't really, but you are. There's a lot of stuff she's floating, Green New Deal, green infrastructure. We got to get back to work, Senator. That's if we don't get back to work, who's going to pay the tab here?
Look, there is no doubt we have to get back to work. We've got two crises that are simultaneous. We've got a global pandemic that's a health crisis. We've got an economic
All right, Senator Cruz, I shouldn't ask that last question. Thank you for being with us. Come back soon. We have the last bite coming up next.